Okay, I have the Medeco Bilevel. It says it's a Medeco M3B Bilevel Lock, not to be confused with the Medeco M3. It has the same check pin on the right side bottom here as the M3, but while it has the same cuts as the M3 Medeco, which need to be lifted and rotated, this one only needs to be lifted. So there's no rotation on this. There are 6 pins, I think, in there, and they just need to be lifted like normal. And then this one little extra check pin on the side that needs to be pushed at the end. So it's not as difficult a lock, but I did find it a bit more on the challenging side. I think there might be some tight tolerances in there that give you some issues, and it was kind of gritty. I got it brand new from. I just got it brand new, and it was a little bit gritty. So I just added some lubricant to it, and so that's probably going to change the whole. Or I'm hoping it'll change the whole picking experience. We'll see. So I have this wiper insert because it's got a really wide keyway, and I'm just going to use it top of keyway like this. So we'll go ahead and start. First pin is springy. Second pin is binding. It's a little hard to get under so the front 2 pins are a little bit hard to work. All right, first pin, second pin is. I'm lifting the second pin. I just slipped off of it. All right, I got a click from the second pin. Third pin. I think, is it binding? Or is it just hard to get under? All right, a little click from the third pin. Fourth pin, springing. Fifth pin is binding. Pretty good. Lifting it. Click from the fifth pin. Sixth pin is binding. Clicked. So I think the only ones are fourth pin and first pin that I haven't set yet, right? Let's see. 6, 5. This pin. This pin feels like. Is it set or is it? It feels set, I think. Let's see. Is the first pin binding now? Doesn't really feel like it. Let's make sure everything else is still set. Second pin seems set. Third pin is that weird kind of run under. Fourth pin there seems set. Fifth pin here. Oh, wait, that's the sixth. 6, 5, I think. Is 4 set? Not sure about 4. 3. 2, and where's 1? 1 might be binding now. Lifting 1. I can hear it compressing the spring. It's really hard to stay on the pin way up here. All right, click from 1. 3 set. Okay, now 4 is binding. I just lifted 4 a little. I got a little bit of a set, but 4 still binding. So I'm thinking that is a false set of some sort. Now it's binding really hard. It must be some. 4 must be some special pin. I'm getting a little counter rotation from 4, so I'll let it counter rotate me a little. Click from 4. Did I drop something in the process? 1 was the last one I set, so if I drop something, it'd probably be 1. Indeed, 1. No, 1 springy. 2, 3. Little tiny click from 5 again. Question is, did I overset something while I was setting 4? Wait, there's something in the front here binding. Is this 2? Ah. whatever this is, it feels like it must be overset. Feels like it must be overset. All right, backing off tension. Dropped it back down, whatever it is. This one here is binding. I think it's number 2. Click from it. Number 1 appears to be binding. Really hard to get on. I should have brought out a different pick with me. Okay, it's not binding anymore. Maybe it wasn't binding. Let's go back. Binding here on, I think 5 it is. Binding on 6. Maybe I dropped everything. Click from 6, 5, 3, 2. 1 is not binding. 2 is up there. 3 is not binding. I got to click out of 4. Now that I know it's like a spool or torpedo pin or something, I just kind of forced it through. Wondering what's going on now. You know, I haven't checked the check pin. It's not binding. Oh, I think the first pin's binding again. Did that click, or was that me slipping off? It's springy now. 2, click from 2, and I got some rotation. Check this check pin. This check pin's now binding. Let's let off a little tension so I can move it, and we're open. So that took a lot longer than you would think it should have, but we're open. And I felt something funky on 4, but the rest of it felt pretty standard. A little bit of hard time picking the front pins. I probably should have went with something flat, maybe like some sort of reach or something like that. But I was able to use this 25 thousandths hook because it's got this nice wide open keyway. All right, anyways, let's take a look at the inside. Get some autofocus going on. All right. So to get into this, there are some gropes. So I just locked it back up. There are some gropes. Did I show it in action? I thought I did. There's in action. Some grope screws up top, so we'll go after it that way. Number 6. This could take a little bit of time. Okay, so it's got a serration in the key pin. So if you overset it, you're going to be in trouble. Although that's a long way to overset it. That's a really far way to overset it. Unless, no, I don't think it interacts with the sidebar at all. We'll see that. There's this little sidebar in there for the little M3 check pin. All right, pin 4. There we go. That's a torpedo pin. So that's what we encountered the counter rotation on. And again, this one has a serration on it, but it's not really that close to the edge of it to catch an overset. So I'm not quite sure the purpose of those. All right, I just sprayed lube in here, so it's like dripping. So I'm going to do this on a piece of paper towel. Pin 2, standard driver and standard key pin. And the last pin, we've got standard driver. All right, so let's look at this sidebar here. Just because it's a simple lock, don't think you can just like open it like it's nothing. Although I'm sure with some practice, you know, you can open these like they're nothing. But it certainly was pleasantly more challenging than I initially thought it would be. Okay, I'm gonna take this. So there's a sidebar and there's a check pin on the bottom. I remember from the M3 that has the rotation. This one doesn't have the rotation. So sidebar. Okay, so the sidebar here has 2 notches in it, and you're gonna have to line up the check pin with that in order to get that to go. And then on the bottom, you have this check pin mechanism. And, oh, it does come out. Okay. There we go. And you can see here, it's got two little fingers. Actually, we'll zoom in. All right, so it's got the sidebar, the check pin here has two little fingers there. And those two little fingers, they go into this double notch here on the sidebar. You see that double notch? Come on. There's a double notch. So it goes into that double notch there, and so you have to get that lined up. But there's no false gate, so you just push that until it locks. If you push it too far, it will go too far and it won't line up. So there's that. When you put this back together, you put this spring in there like so. Get that in there. I have to look closer if there's a hole there. But this sidebar, you want to make sure that it's the right way around. Those two holes need to be that way with this little ledge on the bottom. Otherwise it won't work. All right, so here are our pins. I was mentioning that these pins here, they have this serration, but they don't seem to do anything because I can't imagine oversetting that far, right? And then there's your one torpedo pin. You want this side to face towards the key pin for this to work properly. In any case, that is the Medeco biaxial. Thank you. Oh no, why am I saying biaxial? It's the Medeco Bilevel, not to be confused with any of their biaxial cylinders. All right, thanks. Bye.